Alright, so I'm going to do some work on my ham hock and lemon bean stew. And this is my cutting board. I'm sterilizing it. This is what you do when you want to get your cutting boards white and you want to sterilize them. You put down a little bit of bleach on it. Then you put paper towels on it and you make sure it's saturated and give it time to sit there for a while. And that's how you do it. Take it off, wash it off, and you're ready to go. So these here are quart jars, and we got what do we got there? 12, and I have some more. But what you do with these jars is you run them through the dishwasher and you get them all sterilized before you pack them full of food, right? Also, this is what the 11 bean soup looks like. Got all these different beans and legumes in there. It's really nice. I got this right here cooked up, ready to go. I just don't think I have enough beans, so I'm going to soak these tonight and cook them tomorrow. I'm going to add 3 onions to the mixture, and these here are the ham hocks. These are smoked. These are giant. These are giant ones, man. These are nice. $7 each. This adds so much flavor to this soup. It's just astonishing. So let me get set up. One more thing, I guess, is that if you ever have a beer or a 6-pack and it's not cold, get a container like this, fill it up with ice, drop your beer in there, put some water in there, and it'll be cold in 10 minutes, flattened. No kidding. All right. So here's the last one. I do it this way. I cut it in half this way. And you can either separate them like this and cut them individually like this, or you can keep them together, whatever is more comfortable. And that's what I'm doing here. And so I have all my onions. I'm putting right in the beans I cooked already. And the plan is to get each of those jars and to add beans under it or in it, like probably 2 cups, maybe 3, and pour the broth in there, or put the pork in there, and then put the broth in there. What I'm doing with the broth is, we got some of it here. I got 2 large half-gallon jars like this. And the reason I'm doing this is because the fat will come to the top and solidify, and I can take it out, because you don't want to have a lot of fat in anything that you cook or can, because that's what's going to go bad first. And so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to cook it separately. I'll cook it in the broth or whatever, and I'll cook it separately and try to get some of that flavor out and get some of the fat out. And by the time I take this off the bone, then what we're going to have is then what I'll do is I'll get that bone and I'll stick it in there and I'll cook some more of it out. So this is kind of what you do, like this. And it's kind of like a giant chicken drumstick or turkey drumstick, really. Oh man, this really smells good. Where's my boning knife? Now that my hands are all greasy, just get in here and just start whittling away, basically, huh? And this is a good food, man. This is the stuff that mother makes, grandmother makes, because it's you get more bang for your buck, for one thing, and you kind of don't want to spend any money at restaurants because they're so expensive, and you really never know what you're getting. I've been in a couple restaurants that were like seriously disappointing. Went to a Mexican restaurant, I remember, from high school, and the place has been open for 45 years. We would go in there, wait for half an hour to be seated, wait for half an hour for our dish, and it was fish tacos, and it was really pathetic. Look like a 10-year-old boy put it together. So see, it's pretty lean. I mean, it's like, you know, there's some fat, but fat is flavor, right? Pork fat rules. So I'll just take very little fat off of this, because it's just, ooh, I have a bite. And I already imparted a lot of the flavor into that broth I showed you, and it's unbeatable. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you make when you're a bachelor too. I used to make all one-pot meals when I was a bachelor. There's no way I was gonna make a 3 or 4 course dinner. No way, because I could put as much effort into making a one-pot dish, and then have it all week with very little effort, except for warming it up, you know. So anyway, I'm going to continue here. I'll get back to y'all later. Hey, what are you doing there, Ma?
I'm jarring up some bean soup and ham hocks.
Ooh, can we watch?
Sure.
So how much of that bean are you putting in there?
2.5 cups.
2.5 cups. Sounds very scientific.
Yes, and 1/2 cup of meat. This one is the last one, so it might be a little short.
Calculated out very, very nicely. All right, what do you got there?
This is the juice that the beans were cooked in.
Beans and the ham hocks?
Fill up the jar with the rest of the juice.
Okay. Hope we have enough juice. That there's got to fill up half of those jars, because what I did is I put the juice in 2 big jars, refrigerate them, so that if there's any fat in it, it'll come up. I can scrape it off. And I didn't get very much fat, which is surprising to me. So
This was the bottom of the barrel. It's got the bean stuff in there.
looks like we calculated this just right this time.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to come out.
We do have some beans left over, but this stuff is like not easy to calculate, because we did the beans, we did I had put another ham hock in there too, by the way. So I had 3 total. And then did all my spices and seasoning and did all this stuff. So yeah. So gonna be short on that one. Should just steal a little bit from one of them.
We'll get the juice from this one. Juice from this one, and make it work.
Let's add some juice from that one.
They're about the same.
Okay, but it's not, the flavor's not the same. All right. All right, what are you gonna do now? You got all your jars in there, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna tighten up this lid and get the pressure going.
I think your thing is right over there for the top. What are you going to set that at?
15 pounds.
15. And when this starts making some noise, you're going to set the timer for how many minutes?
70.
All right, and away we go. All right, so my pressure's down, and took the weight off here. So all I gotta do is just twist these off real quick. And these canners have almost doubled in price. So here it is, steamy. So I'll take one out. Like I said before, I have to do these in batches because the jars, these are quart jars. See, they're still bubbling. So they're cooling. And this is what I mean about overcooking. I think next time I do this, I'm just going to blanch the beans. I'll soak them and toss the water. You got to clean them good though. So you toss the water probably 4 or 5 times, but then you soak them. And the next day you toss the water, give them fresh water. And I think this time I'm just going to blanch them for like 15 minutes and throw the water out and then put them in the can or in the jar. But even so, you got to be careful because the beans expand, and if you don't have enough space in there, you might have a little bit of a mess. So I will get back to you when we open one up and taste it. All right, so altogether we have 10 quart jars of the 11 bean and ham hock stew or soup, whatever. And you got to consider that's pretty much that's a large amount of food for 30 bucks. That's about what I spent, $30 on this. So, well, there's my mama's fancy new hairdo. So, what is the net of our canning for this weekend?
So we have 21 pints of pork green chili.
Nice.
Which is very yummy. And we have 13 bean soup with smoked ham hocks. And there's like 13 of those.
What's this here?
This is chicken legs.
Ooh, jumping bad with the chicken legs.
5 chicken legs in a quart. Organic. Delicious.
How many quarts?
13.
How many quarts of the beans?
About 13 or 14. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
All right, looks like we got a good haul. This
Yeah.
is, I don't know how much money we put into this, but you got to count the jars, you got to count the meat, of course, and everything else. And anyway, that's what we did this weekend.